Test 56C is the finger evaporator heater test. To start this interactive test, touch the on-off key to activate the heater. The heater is turned off automatically after 60 seconds. Touching the on-off key again will turn the heater off. When diagnosing during the test, if the mold is frozen into the freeze position so that the finger evaporator is not visible, conduct Test 54C to melt the mold free of the ice. When the test activated, is the heater warming, or if the ice is present, does it fall after 2 minutes? If the answer is yes, the heater is in a good working condition and the test is complete. If not, unplug the 9-pin connector at the ice maker cabinet wall. Restart Test 56C, check for 110 volts on the cabinet side connector across pin 4 and pin 5 wires. The pin 5 connects to the brown on the ice maker connector. If voltage is present, use Test 63C to move the mold into the 6 o'clock position and remove the evaporator bracket by removing these 4 screws. Disconnect the heater from the bimetal harness and check for 80 to 100 ohms across the heater. If the resistance is not within range, replace the heater, power on the unit, and re-enter Test 56C. If the resistance is in range, perform Test 62C. Then use an ohm meter to inspect the harness and connections for bad wires and terminals. If the resistance is low, check for water in the connections or damaged wires. If there is high resistance, check for loose wires or bad connections. Check the bimetal. Power on the unit if unplugged, and re-enter Test 56C. If the voltage was not present between pins 4 and 5, reconnect the inline connector. Restart Test 56C and check for voltage at the ice maker board across J4-11 and J4-9. If voltage is present, then use an ohm meter to inspect the harness and connections for bad wires and terminals. If there is low resistance, check for water in the connectors or damaged wires. If there is high resistance, check for loose wires or bad connections. Check the bimetal. Power on the unit if unplugged and re-enter Test 56C. If voltage is not present, unplug the unit and use an ohm meter to check the R1 fuse. If the fuse is blown, disconnect the J4 high power plug from the ice maker board and use a meter to check for the short to ground on the heater circuit, or check to see if the heater shorted internally. Check for water in the connectors or damaged wires. Remove the motor and move the mold to a 6 o'clock position. Then remove the evaporator bracket by removing all 4 screws, then inspect the wires. Replace the heater and bimetal as necessary and reassemble. Then replace the ice maker board and reconnect the J4 connection to the ice maker board. Power on the unit if unplugged and re-enter Test 56C. If the fuse was not blown, replace the ice maker board and reconnect the J4 connection to the ice maker board. Then power on the unit if unplugged and re-enter Test 56C.